Today's home improvement projects is replacing all of the doorknobs around our house, just the loose ones. We went around the whole house and some have been loose for a while. Most recently our front doorknob started getting loose for some reason, so we're going to replace that one. So that's going to have new house keys on it. But then we had some closet doors, like our pantry closet one was actually missing a doorknob at one point, so we're trying to fit in a new one on that, and that is going to be one of the projects for today. Another thing I've been meaning to do was clean this disgusting greasy vent that goes on top of our stove over here, because it has like the ventilation thing where you turn on the fan, but this has never been cleaned since we've lived here. So I bought this stuff. I'm hoping it works. Goo Gone. I'm going to see if it works for this and give it a good scrubbing, because you can't even like see through here. I highly doubt this has ever been cleaned even before we bought the house, but let's go ahead and go outside and see if this stuff does work. It says it removes gum, tree sap, goo, candle wax. So the grease that is on here is very similar to like candle wax and is very sticky and thick. So let's see if it does work. So I'm just gonna give it a good soaking spray and then try to rinse it off with the hose. I'm not sure if that's gonna work or not, or if I'm gonna have to get in here with like a brush and hot soapy water as well. But let's see what happens. The directions just kind of say to soak it or to spray it. Put some on the other side too. And I'll come back in a couple minutes and rinse it out. Hopefully it'll all just start kind of dripping down since I put it greasy side down, and we'll see what happens. It has a nice little citrusy smell. I plan on cleaning some grease stains on our stove with this as well if it works. So I'll let you know. Alright, I was working on cleaning the stove while this has been sitting out here. It looks like it has dripped down some of the grease. It's definitely still there though. I'm going to take it inside and run it under really hot water and see if I could get some more of this stuff off. Alright, so instead of running it under hot water in my kitchen sink, I decided to simmer some water and just kind of pour it over carefully. I have it upside down, so hopefully the idea is that the grease will just kind of drip down. And make sure I don't step in this hot water. Probably have to do this a couple times. And I have my stove, the things that go on top of my stove as well. I soaked it in that Goo Gone to get some of the grease off of it. I'm gonna go heat up another pot. So as for the stove itself, this is a fairly new stove, but over the times, especially with me making jams and stuff, I've definitely had my fair share of spills. So you could kind of see the burnt stains starting to appear on this stove. And luckily this stove is a dark color, so like once you put those, like the cast iron grates on top, it doesn't really you can't really see it so much, but once you open it up and you start cleaning, you do start seeing the burnt things. I've tried to use the Goo Gone already. I soaked it for quite a bit and tried to clean it off, but it wasn't really getting it off. So if you guys have any other suggestions, Barkeeper's Friend worked good too, but with a stainless steel brush, and I don't want to scratch this material too much. So I'm gonna need another type of stronger product that's gonna get all of this burnt off of the stove, because overall this stove is pretty new and I want it to look the best that it can, because it's going to be included when we sell our house as well. It's a nice stainless steel stove, and it's gas, so I love this stove. I wish I could take it with me, but hopefully in our next property it also has gas for the stove, because I do like cooking with gas. So I'm heating up another pot of water. You guys let me know in the comments if you get to this point in the video and you have any ideas. We'll have to look at Lowe's next time and see what else we can find to get this burnt on. It's just mostly like sugar when I make jams. It's grease over time. You know how stoves get, but it's mostly on the big burners that we use. That's where most of the damage is done. The little burners aren't too bad. So I'm gonna try to get as much as I can off without really scraping the stove too much, and just let me know. This doesn't seem to be working as strongly as I would like. I also got this a little bit cleaned, but the Barkeeper's Friend definitely helped with this, and with the rough side of my dishwashing sponge and just scrubbing it real good, I got it a little bit clean. But I really want to get the vent as clean as possible, or maybe try to find a replacement for it. I'll have to measure it out and see if I can find a replacement for it instead, so if I can't get it clean. Alright, this should be good. I'm going to give the vent another good soaking with hot water. I'm also going to bring some dish detergent with me so I can lather it up in that, and that should help cut some of the grease too. Okay, so the hot water does seem to be helping in removing the grease off that vent. So what I'm doing is boiling a bigger pot of water, because you can see as you start pouring it, you can see the grease come off of it, and it's like that shiny metal color underneath. So, but I definitely need more water, so I'm boiling up a big pot so I can take it outside and slowly pour it over. I'm going to do this a couple times until I see most of that grease come off, and I'll show you how it looks at the end. Alright, got the stove put back together. This is how the vent came out. Still a bit gunky, but you could start seeing like the silver color. We have honestly never taken this out and cleaned it, and I looked it up on Google and it says technically you're supposed to clean it every 2 to 3 months depending on how often you cook. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this back in for now, but I'm going to see if I can find a replacement for it. I do see some information engraved here on the side, so I'm going to see, maybe browse Amazon, or next time we go to Lowe's, see if I can find the same exact size so I can just go ahead and replace it brand new. But it's definitely cleaner than it was before. So what I ended up using was a lot of dish detergent and then a lot of hot water, and then I kind of sprayed it with the hose nozzle outside, and some of that stuff did start coming out. Like here you can see the original color, but in some areas it's a little bit thicker, so I think I want to go ahead and just replace it. And that's just part of being a homeowner. This is our first house we purchased, and we have learned a lot while living here. A lot of maintenance and things that you don't even think about you're supposed to be keeping track of. So that's just one of the things. When we move to our next house, we'll definitely be cleaning these out at least every 2 months, or more often, maybe every time that I clean the stove and the oven. So let me go ahead and put this back in. The next thing I want to get done for today is bathing all of the dogs and giving them their flea meds and giving them their nail trims and all of that. So I won't be recording anymore for today. So what we pretty much got done is declutter a whole lot. I got a pile of trash here, but we took out a lot of stuff outside to the curb to see if any of the neighbors want it. And my son decluttered a bunch of things, a bunch of toys. We replaced all the loose doorknobs around the house, and then I got the stove semi-cleaned. Like I said, let me know what stronger product I can purchase to get those burnt marks off of the stove. But otherwise, just from like the outside of it, it looks pretty clean, and then this is a lot cleaner than it was before. So that was on the agenda for today, and now we're gonna get some outdoor stuff done with the dogs and the yard as well. Thanks for watching this video. I'll continue to share our progress in getting this house ready to list by the summertime, and as we go and step into the process of looking for property as well. So I'll keep you guys in tune.